Hello there. Today we'll be doing a valid palindrome, and we're going to be doing this using the UMPIRE method. Alright, so the UMPIRE method is to first understand. So this means that we need to make sure we understand the problem, and to understand the problem, we need to make observations. So first observation is that we need to remove all non-alphanumerical characters, and they all have to be lowercase. So 1, we are checking for lowercase non-alphanumerical characters. Alphanumerical characters. We are checking palindrome, meaning you can read the sentence back and forth similarly, i.e. This means ABA is a palindrome, and race car is a palindrome, but race a car is not a palindrome because you have the extra A here. Alright, so we have some understanding, and how we do this is read both sides of the string, and if there is no match, then return false. Then it is not a palindrome. Okay, so when we do M, that means match. We're going to match this pattern, and what I see immediately is a two-pointer solution. By two-pointer, we see that we can make an I pointer at the beginning of the string and a J pointer at end of string, and move each pointer closer to the center where I and J cross. This means that the string is a palindrome. Alright, so we got the match. So what's the plan? So the plan is, 1, we're going to create a I and J pointer. 2, move I and J pointer until cross, then return true, else, while s of I, and s of j is equal, else return false. Alright, so that's the plan. Let's implement it. There are several ways to implement it. We can implement it with a recursive and the iterative. We'll do both. Okay, so first of all, we skipped a step in our plan because we forgot to make string lowercase and alphanumeric. Okay, so s is equal to, well, the string dot join for char in char for okay, So we're creating, this is a string interpolation, not string interpolation. This is a I forgot the specific name for this. This allows us to change the entirety of a creating an array in one line. Let me look it up. Create array one line Python. What was this called? I think it was called the specific name. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. List comprehension, that's what it was. Okay, so we're going to do a list comprehension here. So for every character in the string, if the character is an alphanumerical, then we're going to take the lowercase and join it together as a string. So then I and j equals 0 and the length of s minus 1. So while I is less than j, we're going to move I and j forward. So I is I plus 1, j minus equals 1. So if s of I does not equal s of j, we're going to return false. And otherwise, once we're all done, we can return true. And that is all for this problem. Let's check let's do a review, and then we'll come back and do, actually, I'll do recursion now. So let's see. A way to do recursion is to basically do this, where we define a recursion and we take I and j. It's basically the same. If I is greater than j, then return true. Else if s of I does not equal s of j, return false. Those are the base cases. Else return recursion. So we're using the same function, I plus 1 and j minus 1. That's pretty much it. And then we called recursion function. Well, just I and j because we created those already. So that also works. So let's go over the code before we submit. Or actually, let's just submit first, and then we'll go over the code. So this recursion code works, as you can see here. And this iterative code works too as well. All right, sometimes you get better results, sometimes you get worse results. It's all the same. So let's review. So how do we review? The way we review is to work through code with examples. I think we should have had test cases. I think we did get test cases. So let's try ABA. So ABA works. Some of the edge cases would be like an empty string. And let's try something that wouldn't work, like race a car. Okay, so this is review. So what happens is that we have a string. We make sure it's lowercase and alphanum. We take an I and j pointer. And we make sure that they're equal. And when they're equal, we move it forward. As you can see here, it moves forward and back until it's no longer equal. And then we return false, which happens for this item, which is good. We take I and j here for, okay, we need more space, it looks like. So we take I and j here, and they're equal, and now they're equal again. And so they'll cross each other and they are no longer equal, and that's it. They are now false. So I mean, not true. We can return true. The same for the empty string. I is here, and j is actually behind that because the length of string is 0 minus 1, which is -1, and so we just return true. So this is very good. The review suggests that this works completely, and the same works for recursion as well. So for recursion, what happens is that basically we take race car and we take the I and j and we move it forward and back as well, and it's relatively the same, except that we're having a call stack of we cost more memory, and this is part of our evaluation. So what I mean by more memory is that we do need a stack of recursive calls that are stored in memory. So we have recursive 0 and let's say 3, and that calls recursion of 0, 1, and 2, and now we call recursion of 2 and 1, and that's when we return true. So that's going to take up some memory. So the recursion will cost us O of n space and time, because we have to go through the entire string. So O of n is time is O of n, and O of n, big O of n space is n for recursion, while it is O of n for iterative, but it is O of 1 for space because well, we're just using the space for the I and j. We're not using any extra space. That's it. Yeah, so that is all. I think that's all for this video. Yeah, we have gone over the UMPIRE method. UMPIRE method is UMPIRE. We understood the problem. What we're doing here, we matched the two pointers. We made a plan. We implemented the plan, and we reviewed the problem by testing up our test cases, and then we evaluated the runtime, and that's all for this palindrome problem. So let me just pull up this code so that you can see it. So if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Want more videos? Check the link in the description below. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.